When I was younger, my parents worked a lot, and it meant I always had to get up and get ready by myself in the mornings. This always made me a little bit nervous just because the worst case scenario always ran into my mind, which was, what if someone tried to break in right now? Well, this one particular morning, I thought I heard pounding at the door, and my first instinct was to go and run hide under the couch. It wasn't to go call someone or lock myself in a bedroom or grab a weapon. It was to try and fit myself under a piece of furniture I could not fit under. Well, in the end, it just ended up being my dog's wagging tail hitting up against the door, making a loud thud sound. But as I was looking up research topics, I came across self-defense, and I thought about all the times where I felt completely helpless. We've all been in situations where we were scared and didn't know what to do, just as I didn't know what to do when I was just 9 years old. This is why you should learn self-defense to protect yourself from an attacker. Today I will talk about 3 main points. First, how to prevent an attack from happening. Second, how to inflict as much damage as possible. And third, how to get out of common holds. Let's get started with my first point, prevent an attack from happening. According to functional self-defense, it's very important to be aware of your surroundings. About 99% of your self-defense needs just comes from being prepared and being aware of what's around you. You need to know when to fight, when to run, or when to be compliant and not compliant. An example of this is if a robber comes up to you and asks for your wallet, you don't want to fight back. You want to just give it to him because your life is much more valuable than material items. When I had a Twitter, I remember reading all the ways abductors were using to get people and take them away. One that always stood with me was when attackers would take people just as they were getting to their car. This is because they're most vulnerable at this point, because when you get into your car, you don't usually lock your doors, and you're usually distracted trying to fix music or texting on your phone. So now whenever I'm alone or in somewhere where there's not a lot of people around, I get right into my car, lock the doors, and I drive off. Now for the next step, inflict as much damage to the attacker as possible. According to the article Basic Self-Defense Moves, you want to aim for the most sensitive body parts because you don't have a lot of time to react. This includes the eyes, the nose, the ears, the neck, the legs, the knees, and the groin. So there's lots of options for you. You're going to want to use your head or your elbow or your knees to inflict this damage, just because it's the boniest part of your body and it'll inflict the most damage. Also, don't be afraid to use your surroundings, such as using a key between your knuckles when throwing a punch, using dirt to blind the attacker, or using your perfume to get it into the eyes. When I was younger, I watched a lot of the same movies, which include Miss Congeniality, where Gracie Hart, also known as Sandra Bullock, used self-defense as one of her talents on stage. She showed the audience the most basic self-defense moves, and she used the acronym SING, which meant solar plexus, instep, nose, and groin. This was where you wanted to attack someone that's coming onto you, just because it's the easiest points to hit. This part always stood with me just because girls are usually depicted as vulnerable, and just by being educated and smart, you can do a lot of damage. So now I've talked about my first step, which is to prevent an attack from happening, and my second step, which is to inflict as much damage as possible. Now for my third and final step, getting out of common holds. According to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy, it's very important to learn how to get out of holds, and she shows just how easy it can be. Due to time constraints, I'm going to show you just one way to get out of a hold, and it's going to be the wrist hold. So if your attacker is holding your wrist, you don't want to just pull away, which is an instinct a lot of us have. Instead, you want to get into a low stance and lean kind of into him, and then put your elbow all the way to his forearm to force him to let go. Although I've never been attacked, I wrestle with my boyfriend all the time, and although he's bigger and stronger than me, I use everything that I can to get out. I maneuver my body, I will kick, I will pull his fingers back, I will even bite if I have to. Not too hard because I don't actually want to hurt him, but it's just things like this that can get you out of these holds. I just want everyone to know never to give up or feel helpless, because it is always possible to get free. Because of all these reasons, you should learn self-defense to protect yourself from an attacker. Now that you know how to defend yourself better, you won't ever have to feel so helpless or unprepared in the event of an attack. Being knowledgeable in this subject can and literally will save your life. We have all been in scary situations where we don't know what to do, so I am asking you to do yourself a major favor and learn these steps, because it can be the difference between a life and death situation.